Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com. So here I got a pretty advanced scan tool for the do-it-yourselfer or small workshop. Does almost everything the factory tool does. It's about time. So pretty much if you have something as old as like an MP3 from 2006, a Piaggio MP3, and you need to diagnose the tilt lock system, it can read those modules. It can read the engine control modules, ABS, and with all these new scooters with the keyless or the digital dashboards that have service indicators and other functions on them, this tool can kind of read them all as of, what is it, 2025, connecting it to a pretty modern Vespa here. So let's get right into it. I'll show you what it can do. So pretty much if you have a Piaggio or Vespa, this is the tool to have, scan tool-M4. If you have a Vespa, we have a little bit less expensive tool. It doesn't have as many connectors with it, just does the Vespas. A little bit less than half the price, or a little bit more than half the price. And so just whatever you need, check them out on the Scooter West website. Let's get right into it. All right, so I'm going to show you how to hook up the scan tool. First of all, you got the nice package. There's several other connections in there that are for other models, European makes of motorcycles and scooters, but I'm going to concentrate on the Piaggios because the tool scan-M4 works with both the Vespas and the Piaggio. The less expensive M3 that I did a video a couple months back only works on the Vespa models. This has more modules it can read. It's got the standard OBD2 port, which you could use on a car. Some models you do need to use the alligator clips specifically for the two Vespa. If you're using the 3-pin connector, which is this black connector, on older Vespas you need to hook up the alligator clips. Some of the newer models, they get power through this red connector. So here I got a 2022 BV400, and go ahead and pretty much most of the Piaggio products, the scan tool connection is right next to the battery. So we're going to pull the battery tray out. Here you need 3 Torx screws removed. And now we reveal the battery. Number one, before you even do any scan tool stuff, make sure you got tight battery terminals. That causes a lot of electrical glitches and gremlins. Have people bring their scooters in after they change the battery, they don't tighten the battery. That could be an issue. So there's your scan connector. Pretty much any of these newer ones have, which is referred to as a Euro 5 OBD port. So it's this little red 6-pin connector or 5-pin connector. Clicks right in just like that. And we'll plug the OBD connector in, and you can see it powers up. And since these were for us, they have our splash screen with the Scooter West logo on there. So that's pretty cool. So you have several settings here, voltage, but that's pretty self-explanatory. You see what the battery voltage is. Right now the scooter's not running. Battery voltage is normal, 11.82. Don't want to keep it that low too long, so just keep that in mind. If the scooter's not running, a lot of times I'll use a power supply to keep power on the battery, especially if we're doing a program. And you can exit out of this. You can change many of the settings. I'm not going to go into that. We're going to go to diagnostic. You do regular OBD2. We're going to skip past all these. We're going to go to Piaggio and hit OK. And click the software version. It is upgradable. There's a USB-C port right there, so you can go to the FX Tool website and download the latest version. These are going to be all the European names, so you're not going to find the word BV400. This is referred to as a Beverly in most markets, so we'll hit OK on Beverly. You can see so many different variations. Mainly, it's like Euro 4, Euro 5. There's a 399 Euro 3, that doesn't apply. This is actually a 400cc Euro 5 engine, which is the BV400. So the worst thing is you select one, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't give you any of the codes or errors out. So we'll go ahead and click that. 2021 and newer, because in Europe, that's when this scooter came out. You could do a quick test. Ignition switch is on. And checks the ABS, the keyless system, and errors in the instrument cluster too. So it does more modules. This scooter has 4 modules. So you got the ECU for the engine control module. There's an ABS module. There's a module with software in it for the dashboard, and then the keyless system. So there's four different modules in this scooter. So it checks all those. They all pass. There's no errors on them. You can hit F1 to see the report and read the various settings, you know. So there's not really anything we could do right here. We're gonna do, we can go back. So this is your back key, and then F2, yes, you wanna exit. And you can go into, you know, individual modules and read. So this is the keyless system. And for instance, let's see if there's any fault codes in there. No fault codes are found for the keyless system. If I recall, there is one fault code that isn't reported on this BV400, and it's going to be the key fob battery low, and sometimes you don't know about that, and you could find that out with this tool. You can see live data streams. I don't know what there is for the keyless. Actuator states, so you know, when you push the button to open the seat or the fuel door, those are electronic actuators, and you can see the little boxes light up to see if it's receiving the signal. Immobilizer LED. There's quite a bit. The key transponder status, you know, there's an immobilizer in there. You know, left turn signal, I think it even can see that there. So, and you can hit F1, we can see them all, hit OK, and, or F2, and it will show you immobilizer light is off, so I actually selected all. You know, some things it's not going to show you. There's only one memorized remote control in here. So there's quite a bit you can see in here. If I do, I think tank hatch, that's going to be my fuel door. So if I push this button, it says pressed. So you can kind of figure out if the button's commanding the signal, and that's specifically for the keyless module. Most of the time you'll probably be diagnosing engine problems or maybe an ABS problem, and it allows you pretty much to see the status of all the things. A lot of this stuff is, you know, more for an experienced technician, but sometimes you get similar codes to what you find in a car, like, you know, a P0420. They don't have 202 sensors on here, but that would tell you there's like an ineffective catalytic converter, for instance, in a car. But some of those same codes, like misfires, you can look up the codes in Google, you know, the P codes, the powertrain codes, and it may give you an idea. Other than that, you know, the keyless stuff, it's all proprietary Piaggio stuff. So, you know, maybe you're trying to troubleshoot one part, like why the fuel door is not opening. That's where this tool may be useful. So you can back all the way out, and if we go back to get all the way to the diagnose, we'll probably go to a specific module. Set the ignition on. Sometimes you do need to turn things on and off. Actuator test, you can like energize the fuel pump. There's a lot of other things. Coil, electric fan. Let's see if the electric fan will do anything. So hit F1. I think it needs the engine running is what it said actually. Nope, there we go. So that's the cooling fan. That's actuated the cooling fan to one of these relays right here. And you can do that with many other electronically controlled parts of the scooter. You can energize them to do diagnostic and so on. Believe it or not, my lead technician, he uses this tool more than the factory Piaggio tool, just because it's quicker, easier to grab versus booting up that computer that's behind me that runs the Piaggio pads. Obviously, we got to program these modules. Sometimes you just need the dealer tool. So this isn't going to do everything. It's not going to program more keys in or brake codes or reprogram the ECU for race fuel map. It won't do any of that kind of stuff. It's just strictly a diagnostic tool. So kind of give you a gist of what this does. It's a pretty powerful tool that can see all the modules in modern Piaggio scooters. And same with all the Vespas. So if you're maybe a small workshop, this would be the ideal tool. If you have a Piaggio, you probably need to upgrade to the M4. It does some other motorcycles, as I showed you the other connectors in there. I think it's a pretty good value for the quality because I've tried out a lot of different scan tools out there, and we kind of work with this company. They put our splash screen on there, which is pretty cool. So hope that is useful to you, give you an idea of what this tool does. Robot here. Thanks for watching my videos. I'm here at Taquitz Fire Lookout. Sadly, it's closed. Building's from 1937. I think they need to do a retrofit before people man this again. This Fire Lookout. Definitely need those in California. See you in the next one.